everyone's opinion's different when it comes to Kyler Murray, and for a good reason. I really like Kyler Murray, and this Arizona Cardinal team has a lot of fun, and it's just, there's a couple of things missing, and that's why they're ranked number 23. Let's go and get into the roster. I don't want to say, no spoilers, right? Let's go and talk about it, and with the offensive line, I think this is a solid unit. It's a very above average, I would put it, like 15 range to 12 possibly. You look at the tackle position. If Jonah Williams stays healthy, this is a good, really good tackle room. I rank him at 14th, but I do be conservative because I do be conservative.
Sir, there has been a murder, and you are a suspect.
Okay.
That sounds like I'm in like the Old English or something like that, but Shakespeare, oh my gosh, that scared me as a kid. Still scares me. But Jonah Williams, Paris Johnson Jr. Johnson's on his way to being an elite tackle. I still think he's got all the skill set to do that. Beacham's a really good swing tackle. You got Christian Jones. Hey, you never know about Christian Jones, man. He certainly has the size profile to do it. And, you know, he's not an elite athlete or anything. He's a little bit of lumbering. Overall, though, their tackle room looks really good. You got Frere as well going to be competing for a roster spot. I think it's maybe, you know, we'll see if they keep 5 tackles or not. At least practice squad him. And then you got the interior of the offense line. I ranked the guard at 28th. Just a little bit unfamiliarity and maybe the lack of upside right now. But I think Isaiah Adams gives him that upside here. He's a monster. He's a brute, right? He has the run blocking prowess. I will not deny that. He needs to get better in pass pro in my eyes. Overall, though, he definitely has all the upside. He, to me, is in the clear-cut right guard starting position. I don't really see... I know Royce Newman's going to be competing. Maybe John Gaines can, you know, compete with him. Jay Kern. Maybe even, you know, try out Christian Jones on the interior, even though I think he's more of a tackle. In generally speaking, I mean, Hayden Conner, too, is a dude to watch out for from Texas. I actually like him. I think he's a guy that should make the roster, so we'll see how that works out. If nothing else, practice squad. I think Adams, though, is in the full driver's seat. I think he could be a very, very good year for him. You got Evan Brown, solid player, okay? Can play center, can play guard, good versatility. And then you got Fro, man. I love Fro. Oh my, and then plus the hair, too. I mean, just, yeah, the dude's a monster. Same thing with Evan Brown, of course, but yeah, he's just a monster, and he is an absolute beast. I'm telling you, when you watch Fro, he is a dude that is going to get after it. He can do it at second level, you name it. And he's also a good pass protector. He was really good last year and definitely a leader for them in that offensive line. Can't understate him. He is ranked number 6 in the NFL, close to top 5. I think he's right there. And then on to the wide receiving room, which to me ranks a little bit low. I have him at 31, and there's going to be some question marks for me. Now, I love Maserati Marv, and I do think he can take that next step this year. There were times this past season where I thought that was a little bit disappointing, but overall, like, I think he's going to be, if nothing else, a high-end wide receiver 2, and certainly has all the potential to be a wide receiver 1. And I expect him to get even better, and he could even be a wide receiver 1 after this season. It wouldn't shock me at all. And then you got Michael Wilson, who looked good and had some big games this past season, and I think he could take another step. I just do question some of, you know, the provenness that they have in their receiving room right now, and then the depth as well. Like, you got Greg Dortch, he's solid. I mean, Zay Jones going to be competing there for a wide receiver 3-4 spot. Quez Watkins. We'll see if some of these other guys can step up. A Xavier Weaver, or, you know, Bryson Green, or whatever, right? I mean, there's some dudes to watch out for sure. Tristan Jackson, et cetera, et cetera. Overall, there's just too many like question marks at the moment to rank them a little bit higher, but there's definitely some talent here. We'll see how that works out, though. It could be a weakness. It definitely could be a weakness. Tight end, though, no weakness here. As long as you get Trey McBride out there, father of the bride, right? No, man, with none of that, that'd be a little scary, especially right now. But Trey McBride is a beast. He's an absolute beast. You got Tip Raymond, good, solid blocker. Elijah Higgins, like a hybrid player, receiver option for them. And, you know, you got some guys competing for roster spots, practice squad. Josiah DeGuara, one of those for sure. Tight end, though, not a worry. This is a really good tight end room. Then you got, which they'll use. They'll definitely use. Running backs, you got 9. It's James Conner, man. James Conner is an absolute star. He's a rock star. And then you got Trey Benson going into year number 2. If Benson is out there with James Conner, takes another step this year, could be one of the better running back combinations. And Benson keeps mentioning, he's like, hey, I'm ready, and I'm ready to see it, man, because I loved Benson coming out of Florida State. And hey, DeMercado was good too. I thought DeMercado, that guy can play. He kind of surprised me a little bit, for sure. Good player. DJ Dallas, special teams. Michael Carter going to be competing for a roster spot in special teams. On to the quarterback position, Kyler. You got 13 here in the NFL for me. As I talk about, I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray. There's just too many questions still with the consistency, and that has been one of his biggest Achilles heel throughout his career. Like, he'll play amazing at the beginning of the season, and he'll just completely drop off at the end of the year. Which Kyler Murray are we going to see? Are we going to see a consistent Kyler Murray? It's not all on Kyler Murray, I'll be real. But there are times where I feel like it's like, okay, we need to be more consistent. We need to get the ball out on time and maybe read over the middle field a little bit better. Maybe not the strongest point of his game. Overall, though, I still really think Kyler Murray is the franchise quarterback, so I might be in the outlier. Who knows? But Jacoby Brissett with an I put out there or something. Is that a one? I think a little bit of a misspelling there, so pardon me on that. Jacoby Brissett, a good solid backup, though, if they do have an injury. Shifting on to the defense, and let's start with the defensive line, which looks way, way better. And they've invested so heavily into this defensive line. It's a big deal. Like, they rotate like crazy. It's like a Gannon thing, man. Like, let's rotate. And coming from the Eagles, it makes sense. This defensive line has a lot of talent. We'll see if they reach their upside. I was still being conservative, ranking them at 20th. Yeah, Josh Sweat was so dominant in the playoff run and through the season last year. You got Xavier Collins, Baron Browning. When he's fully healthy, he's a dynamic pass rusher. B.J. Ojulari, still a lot of untapped potential there if he stays healthy. Jordan Burch they get in the draft. They weren't done, man. They got Xavier Thomas. Very deep, very good potential unit. Interior defensive line. Also really good. You got youth in here too now with Walter Nolan coming in. And of course, I mean, we'll see how Darius Robinson looks going into year number 2. He's got to get stronger, got to get better overall with his hands. I like Robinson. He's going to be able to play inside out. Remember, this is a 4-3 alignment, but they play a lot of 3-4 and they play a lot of eagle front and whatnot. I just list everybody in nickel packages just to make it simple for me personally and the way I look at it, because a lot of teams play nickel formations. Some do different formations and whatnot. This is definitely a team that plays a good amount of eagle fronts, and they'll even line up guys like Mack Wilson on the line a lot. So that's something to mention too here. So they like some hybrid dudes to be able to roll around. So just kind of bear with me with that. But in general, these guys are going to move around a little bit. Walter Nolan can move around easily. Very interesting defensive line. Expect Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, maybe one of those guys at least to get cut, because they got some other guys later on this roster too, I think, going to be able to compete for roster positions like, you know, a Mustafa or a Goodlow or, you know, Simmons, a guy like as a nose tackle, a run defender guy. It just depends on what they want. You got Stills as well. He's a good player, a good solid rotational piece. So it wouldn't shock me if they cut both of those veterans, and we'll see how it works. You know, cap-wise, they could do a post-June 1st sort of thing to help them out and with that cap situation. The interior defense line, though, looks really good. I didn't even mention the starters. I mean, Calais Campbell's a beast. You know, he's like the ageless wonder. And then you get Dalvin Tomlinson, really just a solid rock. And on to the linebacking core at 29. Some questions. Yeah, some questions. Akeem Davis-Gaither, is he ready to take that jolt as a starter this year? That's going to be a big question. But you got Cody Simon. I thought Simon, if you go and watch that Ohio State defense, he was one of their best players this past year. Really good football player. Mack Wilson, as I just mentioned, he plays a little on the defensive line too. The only question for me is, can Akeem Davis-Gaither cover a little bit better? Because that was one of their weakest sort of things with this linebacking core, is nobody really could cover one-on-one on like running backs and tight ends and stuff like that, other than like Buda Baker and, you know, Thompson and maybe, you know, Thompson and stuff, you know, Dadrian Thompson, Deverson. So like that's a big weakness for them. They need a guy that can cover a little more consistently at the linebacker position. So we'll see if Akeem Davis-Gaither can give them that sort of a role. Overall, the linebacking room, like I said, it ranked at 29th. It's not terrible. I don't think it's going to be a detriment to this defense, but it is something that is a bit of a weakness in that coverage department for me. Corner-wise, I rank at 21. I know it seems a little high, but I'm really actually high on some of these guys. I think Will Johnson will be a day one starter. He's been signed now. You got Max Melton. I loved Max Melton, okay? It's one of those things. I got a draft crush on him. To me, he is their best man coverage guy in this room. But man coverage is not the strength of this room in general, right? Garrett Williams is a zone beast. Probably the best zone corner in the NFL last year. I think he graded out as the best zone corner in the NFL. He made so many plays in zone coverage. And his man coverage grade, I believe, was a lot lower. And you could tell, I mean, he's not the best in man coverage. It's not really his game. He's just definitely better at reading the eyes and stuff like that. Will Johnson's a great zone corner as well. I didn't love him as a man corner. This is a perfect defense, though, for him to come in here. And the question is, well, will Rawlez adjust and do different format? Because he's the type of guy that plays a lot of like 3 safeties, 10 yards off type of corners, you know, playoff coverage. You know, sometimes he'll put one guy in the line or whatever. But generally speaking, does a lot of off coverage zone shells. And that's really their defense. And they'll mix some guys. I've heard Garrett Williams, they might play him a little bit safety this year or like a hybrid role. So we'll see about that. That'll be a fun one to watch. This cornerback room, though, has a lot of potential, a lot of youth. And I didn't mention some of the other guys, like Elijah Jones going to year number 2, getting healthy. You got Denzel Burke. So even though you lose Sean Murphy-Bunting for the season, you got other guys out here, Starling Thomas. I'm curious to see who ends up making the roster. Actually, Catrell Clark might end up being on the way out if they want to keep Elijah Jones. So we'll see how that all works. I think Johnson will hit the ground running. Max Melton, year number 2, will be a big thing there, how he looks in his development, and Garrett Williams is a really good player. Safety, finishing up here on the roster portion. Buda Baker's a beast. Jalen Thompson, really good player. Dadrian Taylor-Demerson, really solid as a rookie as well. I think he's got some serious upside for them in the future. I think this is a room that looks very good. Number 7, not really need to talk about this too much. This is one of their strengths of the secondary for sure in this roster. Coaching staff, I rank at 25. Yeah, there's some questions for me, but I do think, I'm not a huge fan of Jonathan Gannon at the moment, but I still want to see more with him. I like Nick Rawles. I think Drew Petzing has some upside there too. We shall see. Okay, we shall see. That's a little bit of a tongue twister there. I'm not ready to give up on Gannon though, and that's why I rank this still at 25. So finishing up here with my record prediction, I got him going 7-10. It's a very tough division. Let's just be real. And this roster on defense is going to have some growing pains. I really feel like it's going to be some growing pains. You got a lot of young guys, a lot of first-year players for the team. And that is definitely a question for me. In which Kyler Murray do we see? I still think it's going to be a good one. There's some deficiencies here and there. It's a good team that I could see being a 10-7 team or a 7-10. I think that's kind of like where I'm at, the ranking wise, and where I see them going, somewhere in there. The schedule is kind of tough. I will say it's going to be a tough one. So strap in. Let me know what you think of Arizona Cardinal fans. I'm excited though for this season. This is a big year. It is. It's a big year. So it kind of could be a little bit on the hot seat. I think it's definitely possible. So I hope you guys have a good one. Arizona Cardinals fans, let's go.